Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Sales 101. I am your host, Matt Zimmer. I am streaming to you from my in-laws' house, celebrating Christmas. So I've got a bunch of young nephews running around, so may get disturbed here for a little bit, but if that happens, just don't think about it. Didn't actually happen. Things will be all good. Um, Welcome to Sales 101. This is a I don't know, news, advice, kind of lessons learned style stream where we talk about sales tools, what's going on in the world that may affect sales strategy, those types of things. If you don't know me, go back and watch the prior episodes. That'll get me views. But I think there's been a bunch of good stuff in there. But just to get you caught up on who I am, I'm a serial entrepreneur. Started several businesses over the last decade plus, and really have made a transition from what I call atoms to electrons. So, I'm a mechanical engineer and initially did a lot of stuff in the physical space. Since then have really transferred into the software space, and now am obviously playing around in media. And, that's been my transition, and I guess I feel like the world is going through a transition right now of really re-understanding how we do business in a digital first environment. And that's really what Sales 101 is about. It's about talking about those hard sales skills or soft sales skills, I guess, whatever you want to call them, and really translating them into a new world and talking about how we can get business done as, if not more efficiently in today's world. So yeah, that's who I am. That's what this show's about. This is a live stream, so my hope is that we get some viewers. Linda, I see that you just shot a message through, so I appreciate it. Any comments, any feedback is nice. If wherever you're watching this thing gets streamed on LinkedIn, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube currently. So if you're on any of those platforms, if you comment, I should be able to get messages. I'm still playing around with the software here, so it's just something new that I'm figuring out. So I think if you message, I'll see it. If not, I'll occasionally check in on some different things to see what's going on. But yeah. So I guess that's about what's going on. It's pretty casual. I don't have any guests on or anything. I've got a little bit of content that we'll cover, and we'll see kind of where the day takes us. All right, Linda. So why is Elon a jerk, but he's a rich jerk? What's up? So I titled this Elon leaves Twitter, or maybe not. In some respect is just a kind of a what is going on, but also to maybe attract some viewers that are really into that. I don't my kind of my thoughts on Elon are, you know what? I got to put a little. I forgot to do this. I got to put a little background music on so this doesn't get boring when I make a pause. I tend to do this thing. My friends call it the long pause. It's just kind of where I, just shut up for a minute and don't say anything because I'm thinking. I do that in daily conversation too. That isn't just a on camera thing. That is just something I do. So apologies if that drives you insane. I think some people either are cool with it or it drives them insane, but that's who I am. So that's what you should expect. Uh, Back to Elon though. So I've had this love hate thing with Elon for a little while, as probably a lot of people have. Um, there was a moment when I remember when the original Tesla Roadster came out. I think that like maybe I'd heard of Elon Musk before because of PayPal, but I don't really think so. PayPal to me was just a service. I never really knew who owned it. Frankly, I thought it was a terrible service, mainly because of its tie to eBay, and I had a really bad experience with eBay where I kind of got scammed out of some money, and the payment went via PayPal, and because of that, like there wasn't a way to get a refund or something like that. And they PayPal since changed their services because I'm sure they got a lot of that type of stuff, but. Yeah, I mean, I think when the PayPal stuff was going on, I didn't really have an impression of who was running it. It was just an internet service that popped up at a time when I needed the ability to send money over the internet easily, and it worked. So I didn't really know about Elon until that original Roadster came out, and I remember we had a dealership pop up near me, and my dad was in town, and we decided to go take a test drive, or we decided to go to look at one, to be honest, because we knew there was a dealership, and so we were going to go look at it. And I think the summer before, I had an internship at the Chrysler Design Studio. So I had the opportunity to work at it was Daimler Chrysler at the time, and work in the design studio, designing. We designed a couple of concept cars, and there's a story behind that. We came up with the original name for the Jeep Patriot, which I don't think exists anymore, but we came up with the name of that car about 10 years before Jeep actually came out with it. But yeah. Yeah, so when I was at that internship, one of the they brought one of the someone brought a Tesla Roadster. I have no idea how they got it or brought it, but had one of them, so I had the opportunity to kind of like see one, at this internship. Like this, I want to say like the summer they came out. I mean, it was pretty early. And then I moved. This dealership opened, and my dad came out, and we decided to go take a look at one. So we went, and I remember going and these guys kind of like the guys that behind it, they had one car in this giant building. So they had just one Roadster and kind of like a desk. Real weird. And we went in, and like the guy was like looked at my dad and me, and I was in Newport Beach, so a wealthy area to say the least. And I think the guy thought that my dad was there to buy his son a car, because he just kind of was like, yeah, just let me get your license, and then you can go. So he took a copy of our driver's license and gave us the keys, and that was it. Like, didn't sit with us, just gave us the keys. The two of us took it, drove it around, and it was such a cool experience. I mean, the first time driving that car, it was like nothing else. I mean, it had like the auto brake feature, so when you took your foot off the gas, it like slowed down really hard. So you actually had to learn how to drive a car differently. And it was just an awesome car. And I feel like that car gets a lot of hate now. It was built on a Lotus Elise chassis, and I really loved the Lotus cars. So this thing was like an electric Lotus. It hit kind of if I had the money, it scratched every itch, that I had as far as you know, a car enthusiast, I guess, at the time. And yeah, it was a great experience. And I think after that, like, just really gravitated towards this man that, like, um, seemed to be very principled, and seemed to be easily connected with, and um, yeah, and kind of the way I feel like the way my relationships develop with, like, people that I don't know, like, my digital relationship, I feel like I had the same relationship with, like, Steve Jobs in some respect, where, like, I don't know this person, but they're on the media so much, right? And you, in some respect, develop a relationship with them. And for me, the more I started watching this individual speak, the less and less, like, I felt a connection. And I think, I can't really point, for me, I can't point to one moment in time, but I got less impassioned by this individual. And I could feel that happening. Like, I remember SpaceX kind of landing the first rocket, and really just being excited about that moment. Like, wow, that is so impressive. But it was impressive to me that, like, that happened, but the man behind it, like, meant nothing. And I feel like maybe that's, maybe I was ahead of the curve on this. Maybe I was just, like, more into it. And when I say ahead of the curve, like, I had posted something earlier, a song by, who is that by? Let me check let's see. Let me check my LinkedIn feed here. I'm gonna see if I can present a tab so that maybe you guys aren't super bored, but it doesn't look like that's gonna work. How do I share a screen? Yeah, I don't know. There we go. All right. Just share my personal LinkedIn, right? That's, I guess, safe or whatever. I don't know. Let's see. So if I go into my posts, yeah. So this video, this is called Rat. It's by who's this by? I can't remember her name. And now you can't see it. So it's by it's a video by Penelope Scott. It's a music song and video by an artist called Penelope Scott. And I posted it, and, like, you can see my post here. It's like, Gen Z is ahead of me on this one. Like, there are definitely people that are ahead of me on, like, how aggressive, like, the negative feelings toward this individual we're gonna get. And I guess it's maybe because of Twitter, which is also weird because I don't know anybody that uses Twitter. But yeah, where the heck were we going here? Yeah, so, Linda, so you say, Elon's a jerk, but he's a rich jerk. What's up? I don't know. Like, I feel like that's kind of just, like, I can't imagine being that successful and, like, that continuously successful. It's not to say he hasn't worked hard or hasn't had failures or anything like that, but man, like, I don't think he's scrapped a bit. Like, I don't know of a business that he scrapped, or at least he doesn't talk about it. Like, the man doesn't talk about his failures. I feel like all I talk about is my failures. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe I need to, learn to do something a little bit different. Maybe that would be helpful. but I've never heard him talk about a failure. It's always success, 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 success. And even like the failures, it's just like the Cybertruck. To me, like that thing has been it's a total failure. Like it hasn't shipped, and even if it does ship, like it's no longer. I thought when I saw that car get unveiled, like it was the ugliest thing I've ever seen. It didn't look like anything I would ever want to buy. But like people were genuinely excited. So cool, I can take it that there can be failure or there can be successes that like I'm not into. That's fine. But I feel like now, like we're past that design being like in your face. It's been out there for forever, and I think if it comes out, like it's just gonna look old. It's gonna look dated. It's gonna look like this concept car, and I just don't think it's gonna be as kind of hard hitting as that immediate like whoa, cars can be crazy. So I don't know. I'm in some respects, like I think he's a quote unquote jerk because he can be. It doesn't hurt him. Worst case scenario, he lives a good life. So why, if that's where he's had success and he can do it, why not? And especially in a world where we think about like a niche audience, I don't feel like it's the worst thing to have, people like him. Now, I don't choose to follow it. I don't choose to support it, but I don't personally feel like it's problematic. I think the problematic part is how much attention, it gets. And I'm sure everybody else sees this too. Like we see the news media talking about like, oh, I can't believe how much coverage like people are giving this. Well, the more we talk about it, the more coverage it gets it. I'm giving it coverage, right? I used it as a means because I know there are people that are interested, and maybe it's something big, maybe it isn't, but I don't think it needs to be something that's so important, I guess, in our daily lives. Anyway, that's my thoughts on that. Linda, you got a question here. Did Elon invent Tesla? I wasn't there when it happened. I'll tell you what I know. No, didn't invest Tesla, was an early investor that obviously then took that influence and really, changed the company considerably. So, I think there's a question around when it comes to like who founders are. You'll often see like in startups, there's the founder and then like they bring people on as co-founders as if like, I'm very confused, like as if that means something or as if it's meaningful. I guess if you have, if you change the world in 100 years, you want your legacy to be, co-founder. I think co-founder is something, it's like a legacy type thing. So, did Elon found Tesla? In my opinion, no. In others' opinions, maybe yes. I don't really think it matters though. The main thing is that he clearly has, crafted it into what it is today. So that's awesome. If you own a Tesla, I don't know, cool. If you support it, cool. If you don't, that's all right too. Yeah. So I'm going to try to skip past the current events here and maybe talk a little bit about some sales type stuff, and yeah, we'll see if that's interesting. Once again, if you have any questions, the best place to send them is on LinkedIn. You can find me if I go up to my thing here at Zimpreneur on LinkedIn. So linkedin.com/in/Zimpreneur, ZIMPRENEUR. And yeah, you can find me there. You can see that the live stream's going on in the background on LinkedIn. So we're getting some LinkedIn-ception going on. So that's pretty sweet. All right. So before I start getting into kind of today's sales lesson, let me hop and talk about our sponsors. So today's episode is sponsored by Cart Eval. Are you an e-commerce developer? If so, you know the difficulty that comes from pushing new code to your GitLab. Carts break easily, right? We know that. There's a lot of complex functionality going on, and when you push code that's a little bit off, you can break that e-commerce functionality. If you're dealing with a static site, it's not that difficult, right? You get a picture that's a little missized or something like that, you go and fix it. Even if it stays up for a little while, traffic isn't all that effective, not really a problem. When you're dealing with an e-commerce site, cart is paramount. And if you break that cart and checkout functionality, you're losing minutes, or you're losing dollars every minute that site is down. Carteval makes it easy. Carteval takes traditional automated testing and makes it specific towards e-commerce needs. You can test a wide variety of features and functions for all sorts of e-commerce solutions with Carteval. It works across operating systems, across browsers, and automates right into your workflow. So whenever you push code to your GitLab, GitHub, whatever Git repository you're using, Carteval checks it, makes sure that functionality isn't broken before that code hits production. If you want to check out Carteval, you can go to Carteval, CARTEVAL.com, and sign up for the beta there. It's a new product just launched, so they're giving it away to the first people that want to check it out and see if it's something that can help them with their workflow. That's Carteval.com. Check it out today. Let's see. Our second sponsor is Novum, experts in digital services solutions. Are you looking to develop a new feature or, frankly, just a new entire website, but find it hard to determine where you should go? There's all sorts of solutions, right? You can go to Upwork, you can go to Fiverr, you can go to your neighbor if they're a developer. But oftentimes you'll find that those individuals or those groups are not true experts in what they build. Novum is. They focus on quality first and really all the other things later. And currently they're running a dev deal days, so you can save big when you use them by going to novum.io, that's novvum.io, and booking a consultation. That's really where your experience will start. They'll start walking you through the process of how to think about what type of feature you want to implement, what are the pluses, what are the minuses of different technologies that you can develop, and really, make the experience just really a joy and something that, rather than feeling like you're pulling your hair out when you're developing a feature, that it's something that's fun and easy to implement. If you go today, you can save up to $65,000. So that's some huge savings. If you've got a big project, Novum can really push it over the line and make sure you get the right solution the right time. Once again, go to Novum, novvum.io, and book a consultation today. Cool. Well, thanks to our sponsors for making this possible. And now I'm going to jump into today's lesson. I don't know why it keeps defaulting to that one look. This is the look I'm going for. I don't know why, but this is what we got. Mainly so you can see me and you can see the slide on the left. So the last couple of times I've been talking a little bit about really value and the primary sales. The most effective sales method that you can have is really to sell on value. And I think if you look a couple shows ago, we talked a little bit about advice for novices, advice for novice sellers, and the most common thing that I hear from novice sellers on how they try to sell is basically selling on two things. One is price. They sell on price, 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 price. We have the lowest price, we have the lowest price, we have the lowest price, right? It's always, you can't beat us on price. And I think there's definitely a segment of buyers that are looking for that. There's definitely a segment of buyers that do price shop. Um, the I think the hard thing about those I think the hard thing about price shoppers is where you would in some respect think that they are willing to like put up with more because they're getting a low price. I almost feel like the opposite's true. Because they're so price conscious, they're also so conscious about what they're getting. They're so hyper fixated in like what is the individual cent that I'm spending go to. And so oftentimes like they don't want to put their money towards whatever, things that you may be doing, that you may have to be doing. It may not be optional, but that they consider optional. So if you're doing something that you consider, required, and they consider it optional, to them, they're like, dude, the price could have even been lower. And they're always looking to drive your, chargeable wage down to zero. So, where I think there's this feeling like, oh, if I lower my price, like the expectations of me are less. Like I almost feel like the opposite is true. Now, that isn't fully true, because with more money you should be able to do more, right? Even if I'm not charging the lowest, I do believe like if somebody charges me more, my kind of output should work and function better than a cheaper alternative. Now, better might not mean that I have more features or something like that. It might just mean like, well, I actually eliminated features and I really focused and honed the ones we worked on, and those work great. And this other thing, it may have all the features plus more, but they may not just work as good. So that's kind of the balance act when it comes to price. But anyway, so novice sellers, like, one, really like to sell on price, and number two, like, really like to sell on capability. So we have all the capabilities that you can imagine. We can do X, Y, and Z, and then you ask them a question. Of course, the answer is like, yes, we can do that, no problem. And it ends up just being this person can provide everything to all people, basically. And so in that environment, like, they're not an expert, you're not if somebody says that they can provide everything, they don't even know what they can provide. Now, you can be a generalist, but you still have like a specific niche or a specific mentality. Think of a generalist as, if we think of an expert as really being narrow and deep, and a generalist being wide and shallow. You can still like rotate that generalist on its side, and they're now they're deep, but there's some sort of vector that they're deep in. So I consider myself a generalist, but I'm focusing on sales. To me, sales is a specific skill set. There's specific mentality. There's like a way to drive yourself, a way to deliver results. There's a way of measuring. There's a certain expertise to this thing, even though like sales requires like broad knowledge. But you could be like an engineering generalist that like I don't know how to do all the little expertise bits, but like I know how to manage a project, or maybe project management or something like that is kind of like a generalist thing that's similar. But so watch out for those two things. If you're only selling on price, or you're only selling on capability, like you need to really narrow, and you need to, I would argue, maybe rethink kind of what you're doing. Anyway, so I wanted to talk a little bit about these top 3 value attributes to consider. So I think the most important thing when you're doing sales is to sell on value. And value is kind of a mashup of I believe these 3 terms. There are probably other things you can throw in there, like I talked about capability. To me, capability relates to service. This is more talking about maybe product. So maybe capability in some respect matches to quality or something like that. But these are really the 3 top attributes that I believe kind of really create what value is. And when we're talking about these things, I think it's important to recognize that they are in conflict. If you go to a customer and you say, let's talk about your product. It's got 3 kind of knobs that we can play with, right? So it's got the pricing knob, it's got the time knob, it's got the quality knob. Like, play with them and tell me what you want. Most customers, given no barriers or walls or hurdles, let's say, what they will arrive at, I think this is probably pretty obvious, is low price, as low as possible, right? Ever closer approaching 0. The time it takes to do something, again, they want it now, they want it immediately. Why would you want to wait? And quality, they clearly want the highest quality possible thing. So price and time go down, quality goes up to infinity. That's what every single customer will arrive at, given no constraints, right? The reality is that is impossible. That cannot happen. And if we put all of these at a midline. Now, a midline's hard because these things are all in some respect infinite, right? Price is infinite, time is infinite, quality is infinite. We can always have a higher quality product. We can always, something can always take longer, and something can always cost more. So the mid level is subjective, right? So if we don't know what the top end is, we never know what the mid is. But we're going to need to create kind of within our mind some sort of framework for kind of understanding the mid tier. All right. So if you can get your head around that, and now we're talking about, the mid tier. If I decrease price, it will affect time and quality. Now, we can choose, do we want to affect time more or quality more? Do we want to affect them the same? Do we want one to remain untouched? And then depending on what we decide to do with that one, it will affect the other one, more or less. So if we want to decrease price and we want time to remain, all of the decreased cost goes to a lower quality. Now, if we decrease price and we allow time to, depending on how your pricing works, but if we allow, let's say if something's quicker, we got to put more effort to it, which means cost will go up. So if we decrease price and we allow, in that circumstance, if we decrease price and we allow time to extend, quality is going to be affected less than the prior scenario where we wanted time to remain the same. So we would get a higher quality product, albeit at a longer time frame than the prior option. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense on how that kind of works. These 3 things play off against each other, and like this is really the conversation that you're having with a customer when you're trying to determine what is it that I'm trying to present to you? What could I present to you that would fill your needs, and really driving to figure out how you can get these answers. That's kind of the hard part. That's the sales piece. That's where kind of the sales mentality of being curious and asking questions and listening and reframing and really digging into an individual's needs, wants, and desires. That's where it's important, because when you do that, things will start to pop out, and you'll be able to start having those conversations of being like, is price, like, do you really want to lower your price, or is what you want is you want to maybe you want to really raise your price because you want it done quicker at a higher quality. And like, I know you want to lower I know what you want to do. I know you want to pay less. You always want to pay less. But if the funds are available and it achieves something, let's say if we gave a little bit better product, that we could lower our marketing costs because, I don't know, it's we're gonna add a automated email sender or something like that. That's increasing the quality of the product, albeit it's going to take a little longer and it's going to cost more in development money. But like, we're going to be able to use that thing, and it's going to decrease our marketing costs. Therefore, we're going to save money in the long term. Even if you can't make that claim when you add, even if you can't make that claim when you add a feature, you may be able to say, well, maybe a feature makes it easier to market because you've got an ad, there's something that you can actually run an ad against. There's something that's maybe more tangible, or something like that. So I think by really talking about value in these three terms, I think it makes it clearer what are the trade-offs, when it comes to product development and how product development relates to sales. And really, how do we get a customer to understand how we're packaging something so that they can be on board, feel confident, and kind of move things forward. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to talk about on that. I guess when I go into a sales call, when I go into a sales call, I try to come in and really, with the customer, I think where I focus my primary main focus is to establish initially that kind of middle line. And then from there, like, once I've established that middle line, then the next set of questions that I ask are all around trying to adjust my understanding of their needs kind of around that midline. Okay, so if just to kind of role play here for a second, if I was to get on a call, so I'll set up a video conference or whatever. This stuff's way easier to do in a video conference, by the way. If you're doing it via text, it's hard to be really fluid. At least for me, I realize like this potentially could be like generational too. People that are younger than me may have an easier time or more fluid time with kind of text-based conversations. So there's nothing to say that you can't do this stuff via one medium or another. I'm sure people older than me think it's crazy to do this type of stuff on video. I'm not sure, but my assumption is. But for me, it's really natural. If you're not used to doing that, I can see how, being in person would be, really important. Anyway, I'm gonna speak in terms of video because that's how I do it. That doesn't mean that you can't change and utilize the same tool set kind of in your sales communication. It might change a little bit, right? So yeah, just to role play for a minute. So I may come on a sales conversation, and the first question I'm going to say is, or I generally would try not to start with really a question. I generally, through kind of an email exchange or a text exchange or something like that, my hope would be that I'd get a little bit of an idea about the project. They give me a sentence, I can kind of be like, okay, I get what's going on here. I get what your needs are. And I show up and I formulated a little bit of an opinion, right? And I guess depending on my understanding, I can kind of go two ways. One is I show up and the first thing I kind of say is, hey, this is my my current understanding. Like, am I correct? And at that point, what I'm saying is I'm level setting. So I'm establishing that mid-range and I'm asking them, like, what do they think? So I try to, take the time, the price, time, quality, and say it back to them, what I understand is their problem and what I understand is the solution they're looking for, and kind of what are the rough price, time, and quality metrics that, would be associated with making it happen. And I say, is that true? And from there, the expectations got to be that no, it is not. My understanding is, almost never perfect, and therefore I should expect them to come back and say something. And from there, that's great. Then we push and we move that forward, and we do our thing. The other way to do it is to come on and say, hey, how's it going? Why don't you, explain to me what your problem is and kind of what you're looking for. And in real time, I can then be like, string this thing together. And then what I want to do, though, before I just start debating on a feature set, I can do that a little bit. I can, I gain knowledge, but then what I want to do ultimately is spit it back to them. So here's what I'm hearing. Here's what I heard you say. Like, am I correct? And that, again, it's that level setting. And from there, now what we're doing is I've level set, and we're tweaking the dials in my model. And that I find that a really effective way to, like, kind of simplify what's going on and make it more easily approachable, and kind of do it in a language that the customer is used to versus trying to force them into kind of what I'm using. So again, depending on the project, I guess those are the two different strategies that I would use. But the similarity is I'm always trying to get to that midline, right? I'm always trying to get to that, here's the level set, and then let's talk around, what do we want to move up? What do we want to move down? What's important? What's less important? Where are you flexible? Where are you not flexible? Are those flexibilities real or not? Oftentimes, people will be saying they need it now. The reality is they don't need it now. They want it now, but those wants come with a lot of cost. So if you can get them to be like, yeah, actually, I don't need it now. I need it, sometime in the future. Cool. Well, that's, that should save you a lot of money. Even if it doesn't save you money, it'll help with cash flow. So, you might be able to extend the timeline. So if you're paying for something on payments or something like that, you'll lower your overall like monthly spend, but maybe, do it over a few more months or something like that. So it should help if you don't need to spike people's efforts, if it's kind of low and slow. I find that that's generally a better way to work. And when it comes to quality, infinitely better quality doing something, low and slow. Kind of like a pot roast, I guess. That was a cooking joke. Cool. I think that's today's lesson. If anybody's watching this and has any questions, love to get your questions. Like I said before, you can send me a message on LinkedIn at Zimpreneur. That's kind of the easiest. If you go to zimmers.com, I'm looking at this scroll on the bottom right now. If you go to zimmers.com, ZIMMERZ.com, it's actually, I've got all my socials linked there to make it really easy to find me and engage with me. And why don't I'm gonna play around here now at this point. Let's do this. Kill this thing. And I'll throw up just a window. Maybe we'll just check out kind of what's going on here. Cool. I will keep it big like that too, so you can see what I'm doing here. All right. So if you go to zimmers.com, you can see that got various links. If you want to book a Calendly appointment with me, let's see if this thing works. Look at that. You got a 30-minute appointment, really easy. Try to make myself available. I'm happy to talk about different sales things, strategizing on sales. I can help you do sales. Obviously, different things, I'll charge for different, for the meetings, I'm happy just to hop on and talk. If you'd like me to do other work, I do charge, but, I'm pretty affordable. But happy to get involved in kind of any questions you might have on this type of stuff. My LinkedIn's right here as well. If you go up to that, you can check out my profile and message me directly there. Yeah, this is an interesting platform. So this is probably fairly obvious on this feed, but one of my things with business has been trying to figure out how to create a business with basically as little capital as possible. And I've done that a few different ways. I focused on products, and right now I'm doing something in media, which is not a space that I ever thought I'd be in, but I'm learning a lot. And one of the ways I'm learning is by watching other streamers, hence like having like a background music. I think this is, to me, when I watch it back, when I watch a video where there is no background or there is background music, like to me, like I have to have the background music, because when there is a pause, it's really awkward if there's not. And especially just one person streaming, it's really easy to pause. And when there's that moment of break, like there's this psychological uncomfortableness that happens to the listener, I think. So that's just something like I have, seen other streamers doing. Nobody really talks about it, but maybe it's like an unwritten rule or something like that on best practices. But that's what I've just been looking at other streamers, and I've actually been paying a fair amount of attention on Twitch. I don't really use Twitch a lot. Let's see. This will be fun. Yeah, so if I go to Twitch, hopefully I'm not turning off the volume here, but like, so I've been doing a fair amount of just kind of like looking at people on Twitch, and what I don't really watch any of these videos. I'm not really interested in video game videos, but I found it really interesting because there's a lot of people doing, similar types of things. One, there are lots of, uh, scantily clad women doing content, which I guess is not surprising, but like, I don't know. I'm surprised because I think like a lot of kids watch Twitch, but the other thing that I've noticed a lot of people doing is for a website, they post all their socials, and I'm using Snipfeed. There's something else, I don't know what other ones, but like this format just came out of looking at streamers and seeing what streamers are doing. So if I go into Snipfeed, you can see, this is going to be awesome. I'm probably going to get hacked because I'm just sharing. You're probably not supposed to do any of this stuff. I have no idea. Guess as long as I don't show my password or something like that. But like, you can see like my quote unquote website is literally, I bought a domain, and then the paid version of this thing, you can actually put in like a custom domain. If you go to mine, I'm just forwarding it. I don't really care. It's not important to me right now, but it's kind of cool. You can pick, really simple layout type stuff. It's just links. I think you can do, I wanted to see if I could do like I wanted to see if I could do like a link to the live stream, but I know it changes all the time, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to do any of that. But really simple way to make kind of a super simple website. Where was I going? Twitch? Was I going to Twitch? No, what was I going to do? Oh no, it's going to go to... yeah, so that's it. That's Snapfeed. So you put in email links, Twitter links, pretty easy. So yeah, if you want to talk, either DM me on LinkedIn, book a Calendly, happy to talk. Different sales strategy. I was looking at ARC. I was looking at the ARC fund. I've got a little bit of money in this thing. Mainly because I wouldn't normally put money into it, but I'm trying to do things counter to what my intuition generally is, and seeing how those pay out. They haven't paid off all that well, to be honest. So yeah, I think I was not sure if I should keep going here or not. Just call him Boob. Oh man, this is great. Oh, I didn't even see this. Just call him Boobzillas. You can link your socials in bio. Oh man, some goner, you are fantastic. Yeah, so I'm at my you're pretty funny. So some goner, yeah. So it's just my webcam. I said this. I'm at my in-laws right now. So my normal camera I did not bring with me. So this is my Christmas stream, I guess. So yeah, that's a fair point. The camera visuals are probably not amazing, but it's what I got right now. I do like Boobzillas, by the way. Oh, yeah? Really? Camera is the biggest element, huh? Is that better? Something like that? Got it. All right, cool. I will. Yeah, now I just got to figure out how to reframe everything else. Cool. No, that's good advice, man. This is my fourth day of doing this, so just kind of trying it out, figuring something out. I know Twitch probably isn't the right place for me to be either, but since I don't think my content is super relevant to Twitch, but I think it's an interesting platform, so I'm trying it out, trying things out. So thanks for being kind. Hey, that's interesting. So viewers are on their phone. I saw some stuff saying that most views on phones work well in vertical. I know I can do vertical, but that hurts my head because then I think about multi-platform and like YouTube and stuff like that, and like I don't know how that stuff works. I guess when I'm thinking about it, like all the videos on Twitch though are horizontal, so maybe that's not a thing. Yeah, I don't. What's your feeling on chat overlay? Is that something? I guess I need enough chatters to actually make that relevant. Cool. Well, I will take this stuff to heart. I think I appreciate the feedback. This is actually one of those helpful elements. I've had a couple of people that have jumped on live and just given me like little pieces of. Thanks, man. I've had a few people pop on that just give me little pieces of feedback, and honestly, like those in the moment, just like things that you can improve. I find it really, really helpful. So yeah, if other people jump on here, let me know. I will. I'm gonna link my Twitch socials. I guess I haven't played around with this stuff enough. All right, so let me see if I can. This is gonna be impossible now. Now I gotta figure out how to. It just wants to. What's it gonna do here? I gotta like move the thing over, but it only looks at the. Yeah, I got no idea. Yeah, better cam's interesting. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna. I don't even remember what the heck I was doing. Twitch, snip feed, Bloomberg. Oh, I was gonna pull up some LinkedIn chats so that you guys might be able to see them and maybe see what I deal with. And yeah, maybe that's gonna be interesting. Who knows? How do I pull up my messages? This is like. All right, can we see this? Oh, we can. Look at that. Yes. Okay. So you probably can't see everything. I don't really care. You can see the important part. So, all right. We're gonna look at some of these. These are cold messages. I'm gonna. There are a few in here that probably aren't cold, but I will open what I know are cold sales leads, and we'll just take a look at them and respond to some. We'll do some live selling here, or at least some live response, and see what we can get people to respond to. Okay, so Lydia, I'd like to discuss if you have a requirement related to React, Node, Flutter, and mobile app development. We consistently believe we're building. I mean, like, I don't even know what to say to this. This is terrible. We offer contract. I mean, you see this, like, right now we're offering a Christmas campaign with contractual developers across the latest technologies at a flat monthly fee of $2,700. Like, I don't even know what to do with that. You know. You know, they're just looking for business. I mean, this to me is spam. I mean, I'm sure it is spam. Except I have talked to this person. You know, they know my name. I don't know why it says hello, dear. Like, see, this is, I know, like, people are like, Matt, just roll past it. This thing's clearly a spam message. I agree, but, like, I think by digging into things, like, I can gain, like, a little bit of insight, or I like to try to, like, at least talk to somebody and figure out, like, an angle. I don't know. I don't have anything on this one. Let's take a look at this. Hi, Matt. It's been a while since we've been hoping 15 minutes to how we can amplify your brand, right? It's just somebody selling something else. You know, so for me, this is one place where I'd be like, how can I like get some information from her for free? So let's, you know, what she wants me to do is get on a 15-minute chat. How can I do something? How can I get some information on what this service, this amplifying your brand is, you know, without having to jump on a 15-minute chat? How do you measure? How do you measure success for your services? I don't know. Who knows? I've seen a few talk shows and podcast category. Oh yeah, no, I'm well aware that I need to be cognizant of what I'm sharing. I've already admitted to myself that I probably will overly reveal, but I don't know what else to do. I'll try throwing this thing in the talk shows and podcasts. I think that's an interesting angle. All right, let's go down here. See, I don't know, like, people are gonna get upset at me, but, you know, I don't really, like, this is public information as far as I'm concerned, so you know, I don't know. I'm sure days are flying by for you. Just want to touch base one last time, see if there's an opportunity to connect. I mean, you know. Okay, hello Matt, thank you for connecting. I'm not mad at you. Wow. Okay. We reached out to our network to start meaningful conversations with business leaders such as yourself. I'd love to learn more about your work and share what we're all about. If you're interested, let's set up a quick introductory call. I'm Matthew, I'm a business consultant. Reach out to my network to build meaningful relationships. I'd love to learn more about you and your work. Are you available for, like, I don't care if they want to learn more about me. You know, why is that important? Hi, Stacy. Let me just get more information. I don't know. I'm just gathering information. I don't know what you do with it. My friend Linda tells me that people just tell her things, and she says it like she's very excited that people tell her things. So there's some value in gaining information. And it's funny, like I just get. Yeah, sometimes, a lot of people don't give you a chance to get in. I don't feel like I'm getting a good vibe on any of these. So now I'm gonna just kind of try to. This person saying they're gonna do work, and they're a qualified lead generation service. Most of the things, so you'll see they'll reach our target market. The problem is like most of the time, in my experience, the leads that they generate are garbage leads. So I'm kind of just gonna send this guy a BS response. Like I'm never gonna use this service. I mean, when I say never, like there's never any certainty in that, but let's just say never. And I'm just gonna throw something out to try to get an understanding of how this person thinks. So great, like how do. So I'm trying to set him up because I know their likely response back to this is that I have to tell him. So I'm going to ask him how he determines my target market. And the likely response back is that I have to tell him. And then it's like, well, what work do you do? Because if I'm telling you who my target market is, like I'm doing all the hard work. You're doing the easy work, and I basically will pay nothing. And if you're willing to work for nothing, like I don't see any value in you, and therefore there's no reason to do business. So that's kind of where I'm trying to vet these things, I guess. How do you determine what my target market is? See what the response is. Okay. Oh man, just like there's so much SEO, PPC type stuff. It's just wild. I'd use these people if like there was some sort of guarantee, but I always feel like I have to take the risk, so I don't. That's why you have to look at some extra hands. Yeah, they're just selling development. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. I come on here sometimes just to figure out what people are willing to work for, kind of level sets, like how you should be paying people, basically. Just continues to be spam. Get a couple more messages in here for you guys. I always accept requests, by the way. I never don't. Because I don't know why I wouldn't or why I would. I don't know what these things do. Just give them something to allow them to open. Most people don't, like when they do that, they won't say anything if you just accept it. They need a response back. Slack open. You're just gonna stack tech and LinkedIn. I mean, yeah, this is a company that I haven't been in a long time, so I don't know how to respond to this one. Well, that's me going through LinkedIn. Not a whole lot going on right now. I will. I might post something to try to get some more responses, and maybe we'll see where it takes us for the next one. That's fun. Oh, I see. Well, that's not it. Cool. Well, this is the camera view you get for now, and I want to thank Who are all these? This is so fun. Sorry, man. I was paying attention. I wasn't looking at your messages. Who are all these people? These are just random people. I'm just going through LinkedIn for people that contact me, and I get contacted by, I mean, messages. You know, these are all different people that are trying to sell me different stuff on LinkedIn. So, you can pop out the chat. Yeah, you can pop out the chat if you open the stream in your browser. You can pop out the chat if you open the stream in your browser. You can pop out the chat. What chat? Our chat? Like, I know I can do this. Son of a... Oh, man. Then you have to worry about scrolling back and forth. Yeah, dude. Oh, wait. Yeah, see, I know I can do that, but, like, I don't know. I'm using a thing called Restream. I'm not streaming directly on Twitch. So it's got, like, you know, I can, it only gives me a certain number of, like, ways I can orient content or whatever. Is this what you're talking about? What I got now? Whatever. Yeah, anyway, these are just, like, literally just open stream in your browser. All right. And Nasrullah, your test worked. All right, let me, let's see, Rogme just messaged me. All right, so why the hell can't I? Sorry, I'm trying to navigate. I'm, like, not used to this multitasking. I'm on my laptop too, so I don't have two screens right now, which makes it a pain. Okay, where's the pop-out chat? I'm in the thing. Where's the pop-out? In the bottom? Oh, no. Lower right. Chat settings. Highlight chat. Mod view. Turn on shield mode. Man. Pop-out. Dude, how do you pop out the chat? I can't find out how to pop out the chat, man. No idea. Shouldn't be hard. Click on the cog on the bottom right. There's a pop-out chat option. That's where I am. I'm gonna blame it on age, dude. This is fantastic. Like, I feel like you're my personal customer support. Like, all right, let me do it. Yeah, all right, sweet. Thank you. Cool. All right. All right, cool. What am I doing here? All right, we're gonna get rid of this thing. Go back to that. Cool. All right, so I will. Let me pop back into. I don't remember what the heck I was doing. Yeah. So the answer to your question is these are just people like so. I use LinkedIn pretty heavily as just a. The last 3 years I've been running a software development company, and I use LinkedIn pretty heavily to do two things. One, to source developers, and two, and try to sell things back. So generally, I don't know. There's a few people in here that, and I won't open their messages that I like care about. They're not care about, but like have personal relationships, and there may be personal information shared. The rest of these are they're really cold. They're cold leads. And I say cold leads, for me, whether somebody's trying to sell to me or not, I consider them a lead, because generally, I should be able to shift the conversation into a way that I'm selling to them, or at least I have an opportunity to sell to them. So, generally what I'll do is I try to post content, whether it's this content, maybe there are some people that might be interested in utilizing me for sales activities directly. The other things that I'll do is I'll post some sort of content that elicits a response, elicits them to send me a direct message. From there, like essentially it's like a cold handshake, and there's kind of like a sales process that starts. So that's kind of who the people that are sending me a message. For some reason they found me somehow, they're reaching out generally because they want me to buy something from them, and then I'll kind of start a sales process going the other direction of really just understanding who they are, asking some hard questions. Sometimes that stuff goes good, sometimes that stuff goes poorly. That's about it. So yeah, I don't know who any of these individuals are on a personal basis. Yeah. So, multiple clients and successful media. So. What calls if the lead isn't good, but the call still happens. Whoops. So you're turning spam into money. Yeah, so well, I'm turning spam into content that will maybe one day lead to money, I guess. Yeah, I don't think that that's the right way to look at it. Like I I don't really consider it spam. I consider it leads. Now they're cold leads, but generally, and the reason I respond back to them is generally there's actually people behind them. They're not bots. Yeah, no, I mean but it's a good joke. Um, um, yeah, I mean, so I mean, one of the reasons that I'm even doing this live stream is just this belief that, digital presence and stuff like that is getting more and more important. And so, my kind of experience, I've worked from home for the better part of a decade. So I haven't been personally into an office. The personal relationships were really important to me. But my kind of personal experience through the transition of running a business through the pandemic, especially a digital agency, and then coming out of it is like, I think this frontier is like the next frontier in just where business happens. So for me, like, I don't think the tools are built yet. Like I think I'm using a really rudimentary tool set. Like I don't think this is ideal, but like it's where I think things are going. So for me, this is a means for like trying to figure things out, trying to figure out like, all right, how do I do content generation? How do I frankly, how do I attract to me? And then if I can gain audience, then I can, figure out how to sell on top of that. So some of this stuff is like, I'm kind of just, I don't intend to ever buy anything from a lot of people that are messaging me. Maybe, I mean, if we get to the point where it's like, all right, like I can figure out how to get this into my workflow and like it works with me at a price point and a model that works, like, cool. It's not like I have a malicious intent, but where I start is no, and I'm just being honest about that. I'm a hard sell. But yeah, so I don't know, that's how I think about what I'm doing. To me, this like doing the stream stuff, it is a pursuit of audience, but the pursuit is in some respect to like help with my sell. And I don't really, is live streaming the most important thing? Is something else the most important thing? I don't really know, but it all kind of ties together and really tries to make me, in some respect, just accountable for what I'm doing. And if that helps drive interest or education or whatever, I can kind of consider, I consider the outcome positive. So I don't know, man. I'm a talker. Yeah. You wants to call schedule. What's called? We don't wait for the deal to close. Yeah, sorry, that's not gonna. So generally, the other thing that I try to do here is when it comes to putting together a business. Cash flow terms are really important, and I feel like if I can get somebody else to invest in something that I can basically run out in front of, I can really build a business on top of that. So for this type of thing, if I had the ability to say whether a meeting was successful or not, or I had the ability to pay them after the close of sale, or what, if we were leveraging somebody else's money to kind of run out in front, I can build a business on top of that. Generally what you find is everybody wants cash now, myself included, by the way. So I don't exclude myself. But those, when there are those rails up and it's that transactional, it's really hard to work with somebody. I know that too. From my own standpoint, but yeah, so some of these things are like, if I can find somebody that's willing to work with, like, I'm actually willing to kind of play around and see if we can figure out, like, all right, like, that's interesting. How can I leverage that, pull that into my business? How, how do I, um, um, yeah, I don't know if any of this makes sense, but so, when I have somebody this tight and you can't find a through line, so it's not worth it. Anyway, yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me today. I'm gonna maybe continue this tomorrow. I'm gonna try to play around with the snip feed and see if I can expand the site out a little bit. I've got to jump in the backyard to help my father-in-law fill in a hole right now. So, yeah, cool. Yeah, I guess I'll sign off for the day, and thanks. Take care, guys.